Did you know that Jesus had a secret place? Jesus had a secret place. I believe this is a key to his ministry. Whenever I travel and I do an introduction to deliverance message, I start at Mark chapter 1, verse 21. I talk about how Jesus was in the synagogue and he cast out a demon and all this kind of stuff. And then I talk about later how all the crowds come and they get healed, they get delivered. And then in verse 39, it kind of summarizes his ministry. He was preaching in their synagogues and casting out demons. But there's a verse right in the middle of all this ministry activity, verse 35. Mark chapter 1, verse 35, I believe there's a key to the ministry of Jesus. It says, now in the morning. Now this is after a long day of ministry. This is after he preached in the synagogue. He cast out a demon. The crowds came. He healed Peter's mother-in-law, and then all these crowds came, and he's healing them. He's up late into the night. But notice what it says. Now in the morning, having risen a long while before daylight, he went out and departed to a solitary place, and there he prayed. In the morning, having risen a long while before daylight, he got up, went to a solitary place, went to a place just for him and the Father, the secret place, and there he prayed. You cannot separate the ministry of Jesus from the secret place of Jesus. You cannot separate the fruit of his ministry from his private devotion with the Father. And if the first place we need to follow Jesus is we need to follow him in the secret place. That's the first place we follow him, not casting out demons. I love casting out demons. I love seeing people set free. I love preaching the gospel, teaching the word, healing the sick, whatever, following him in his character, following him in his attitudes and his teachings, right? But the first place we must follow Jesus is in the secret place. The first calling of a disciple is to be with Jesus. Is the first calling of a disciple is to be with Jesus. If we miss this aspect, we're missing the whole thing. If we do all kind of activity, if we do all kind of work, if we do all kind of ministry, they're all good things. I'm not saying don't do them. I'm saying it's not the starting point. I'm saying it's not the foundation. And if we miss the foundation, it doesn't matter what we build on the foundation. Jesus had a secret place. Look at this other passage in Luke chapter 5, verse 15 and 16. You'll see Jesus had a secret place. However, the report went around concerning him all the more. Jesus had just healed a man with leprosy. He had healed a man with leprosy, so it's a major miracle. And he says, don't tell anybody about this. Have you ever noticed that Jesus tried to stay hidden? How opposite. How opposite of how we often are. Jesus would heal a person and say, shh, keep it quiet. Don't tell anybody this. Right? He didn't post it on Instagram. I love Instagram. I use social media. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I'll post, testimony or this. I'm just saying though, the heart part, the attitude, like Jesus would try to stay hidden and couldn't. He would try so hard to stay hidden. And he couldn't help but people finding him, couldn't help but people hearing about the miracle, couldn't help. I want that to be the case. I want that to be the case. The report went around concerning him all the more. The more he said, hey, keep this down. You don't have to spread this. The more the report went around. Listen, great multitudes came together to hear and to be healed by him their infirmities. Now, look at the response of Jesus in verse 16. So he himself often withdrew into the wilderness and prayed. What was Jesus' response to increasing ministry activity? His response was the secret place. His response was to pull away and spend time with the Father. His response was to go to a quiet place.